Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you part 17 of What If Naruto Was a Badass Genius. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto was sent to the Marvel world and enjoy that guys. I also posted a new episode of What If Naruto Was a Smart Prodigy over on Anime King 2, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy. And later on I'm going to be posting What If Aizuna Uchiha was Naruto's ancestor, so stay in tune for that, and I do hope that you guys enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So, the last spot we left off, Naruto and Itachi went down the base as Itachi activated his Mangekyo Sharingan as Naruto dropped on all fours. The next morning the village was in an uproar as everyone was surprised as the man that was going to ascend to become Hokage was massacred along with his deadly trained root envoys. Imagine if someone can walk in a village and do something like that. Who was it? As people were getting scared and curious at the same time, as Jiraiya knew that it has something to do with Naruto. Suddenly the envoy that spoke to him earlier about Sarutobi's wishes of Sandaime becoming the Hokage appeared. As the envoy told him things are not what it seems like, the envoy then told him that he will be leaving the village because he will be taking the blame for the Root massacre. Someone has to sacrifice for everything. As the envoy then said something that got Jiraiya curious, that just because Naruto has the 9 tails inside of him, he's not the only Jinchuriki. As that surprised Jiraiya as the envoy vanished after those words. At Sasuke's house, Mikoto was bandaging up Naruto as he suffered heavily last night in the battle. It was very hard as he faced off against so much root envoys, but once they killed Danzo, they were able to tame the root envoys as Naruto has them working for him now, the ones that survive. The time then came as it was Sarutobi's funeral, as Jiraiya asked Naruto if he's not going, as Naruto said no. In the past few months he has become to hate the old man, but he's glad that he's dead now, because he didn't want to have to resent him. As Jiraiya was giving Naruto a calculated look, what is wrong with this boy? But before he could say anything else, Yuji appeared as she told him that he's needed, as Jiraiya headed off, leaving Yuji with Naruto. As Yuji was angry after speaking to Naruto because he talked of the death of the third so lightly. He then told her that he's going to the sand, but the way he spoke is acting like he can just go to the sand as right away. The sand's a distance away, but Naruto simply vanished. As Naruto arrived at the sand in a council meeting, as he and his root envoys slaughtered the council in the sand, leaving Baki in charge, as he told Baki to groom Gaara and make him become the next Kazekage. As Baki said if Konoha finds out about this, especially that he has the root envoys. But Naruto looked at him and told him if he tried to threaten him the next time he come back here, he will be taking his head. And with that Naruto left. As Mikoto asked Naruto if he's still going on that training trip, as he said yes. Yuji was there as well as she noticed something. Didn't anyone notice how Mikoto was blatantly flirting with Naruto the way she talked? It seems like the woman was waiting for Naruto to get older so she can have her way with him, as she wondered if no one saw this. Later that day, Naruto went to find Jiraiya and told him that he wants to go on a training trip. As Jiraiya asked why now, as Naruto asked him if he ever heard of the Akatsuki. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch your cosplays and check it out for yourself. So let's start this new episode. After talking with Jiraiya and Shikaku, as Shikaku asked Naruto if he was the one who was behind it, as Naruto told him yes, that he formulated a plan to take care of Danzo. as they told him he could leave, but Jiraiya didn't want Naruto to leave alone. But Shikaku told him that he will be fine, and also Naruto will come back. He has important people here. At the Hyuga compound, Hayashi stared at his elder daughter as she quite honestly surprised him in the Chunin exams. She had requested a meeting with him, he did not know what for, but Hinata has never shown this boldness before. Perhaps he should be grateful to the Uzumaki, but he was not. A part of him believed that Hinata always had it in her. If she can pull that same strength and fight that she used against Neji, she will be a wonderful leader for the clan. The Hyuga clan needed strong leaders, and as his daughter, Hinata needs to be strong. Tell me, Hinata, did you hold back in your fight against Neji? As he was certain if Hinata wanted to win the match, she couldn't have won it. I can't say I held back, but if I was fighting to win I would have won the match, he said calmly, without any stuttering. Why did you not try to win the match, he asked. I just wanted to prove a point, and if I had defeated Neji before I can help him, things would have been proven difficult. Hayashi remained silent for a few seconds as he then nodded. Why did you call for this meeting? I wish to be given the right to challenge my younger sister, so that I can reclaim what I have lost to her, Hinata said. The position didn't really mean that much to Hinata, but she just wanted to protect her younger sister. She could not have her younger sister shouldering all the responsibilities. Besides, she needed to change the clan. They should not see each other as enemy. I see, said Hayashi. He had expected this after hearing what she said in her match against Neji. He had spoken to Neji and cleared some things about his resentment, and told him why his father died instead of him. Neji, Hayashi called out. Come in. Neji walked into the room and greeted Hinata, as she returned the greeting with a warm smile. You won't face your sister but your cousin. If you defeat Neji, you will reclaim what you lost. But in return, you will no longer be associated with Uzumaki Naruto. There was a lot more going on with the blonde, and he had to keep his daughter out of it. Despite everything that has been going on, she was still his daughter, and he loved her no matter what. Naruto was a dangerous person that Hayashi saw as a threat, and he did not trust him one bit. And if the boy were to influence the decisions that Hinata made as clan head, he will therefore be making decisions for the Hyuga clan. This is why he needs to cut off the relationship now before it blossoms into something. Why, father? Said Hinata. Hayashi glared hard at Hinata for questioning him. Are you questioning my decisions, Hinata? Have you forgot who I am? I meant not to disrespect you, father, but you have to understand, I am what I am, because Naruto took his time to train and teach me things. He even allowed me close to his mother, I assure you. Many people do not get that privilege, Hinata said. It would be somehow weird if I just ended the relationship after everything. Naruto would feel betrayed. It doesn't matter what he feels. You have to think about the clan now, Hayashi said, firmly. Nevertheless, I will thank him personally for his rule. I cannot ignore it. This has to be done or you will be remain as you are. Hanabi will remain clan head if you don't. I understand, father, said Hinata. At Team 7 training ground, Naruto looked at Ino with an impassive look on his face. He told her that he would train her, but that was impossible now since he was leaving the village. She would no doubt throw a tantrum over this, but nothing could be done. He has to leave and Ino need to stay behind. I don't remember the last time that it was just me and you, sitting under a tree, Naruto said, as he looked up in the tree. Things have changed drastically between him and Ino. Maybe it's because his mother has shifted from the Yamanaka towards the Uchihas. Since the incident, she spent most of her time with Mikoto than Ino's mother. She still did go there and help when she could, but Naruto couldn't remember the last time he went to that place. Well, he really didn't have any desire to be there. He only went there because his mother was there. You have been ignoring me lately. It seems like I don't matter anymore, Ino said, looking down at the ground. I wouldn't say that, Naruto said. He would not say that she was useless to him because of her weak-minded attitude. Maybe she was not useful, but to say that she no longer mattered wouldn't be the truth. We did have some memories that annoyed me, he said. I cannot forget those. If anything, you were the friend I had when no one wanted to be friend. I at least can appreciate that. From where I have been standing, it doesn't look that way, Ino said. You have been ignoring me. Maybe, Naruto said as he shrugged his shoulders. I have been a lot more focused on my duties. I am a shinobi and you are not. Maybe you were a headband, but you're still living in a dream world. Our worlds are far apart. There would be nothing to talk about. Our worlds were always far apart, Naruto. Even so, I could still count on you. I could always come to you, but you have changed. When you are not doing missions, it is Hinata or Sasuke, and the rest of the time is your mother. Naruto was silent for a long minute. I will not be able to train you, Ino. One thing I always liked about you was your perceptiveness and your keen mind. I will miss that. But I cannot train you. I'll be gone from the village tomorrow, he said. Ino looked up at him. What? She said. Only for a couple of years, the trainer said. Ino stood up. I see, she said. As she did not say anything further, she just walked away, as Naruto did not stop her. As Naruto just leaned on the tree. As everything was peaceful now, he could relax. He could even stay here and sleep. Nothing would happen. I thought you would leave before I could speak to you, Hinata said. As Naruto looked at her. My father informed me that you will be leaving the village for a couple of years. Do you have something you need to tell me, Naruto asked. I spoke to my father and he gave me the chance to reclaim my right to be clan heiress. I had to fight Neji though, but it was something that had to be done. I see, Naruto said. For now, he had no use for Hinata. He had given her enough to stand on her own 2 feet. The fact that she was able to stand before her father without shrinking meant that he did a good job. But she will be needed later when he returned to the village. The condition that my father set to reclaim clan head was that I cut all ties with you, Hinata said, in a much quieter tone. Whether Naruto was surprised or not, it did not show. We are all selfish in some parts. No matter what, humans will always take a decision that suits them in the best way regardless of what. For your case, it is understandable. Protecting your sister and saving your clan has always been your goal. Maybe I would have been disappointed if you didn't make the choice that you did. Hinata smiled as she was relieved. She thought that Naruto would understand, but she was not completely sure. Hearing him say it with his own words though, made her feel relief that she didn't make the wrong choice. But she knew her father was the one who was wrong, but for now she would just keep those thoughts to herself. She could do nothing now, after all she was just a mere brat. She would have to grow into the clan and a lot stronger for her words to mean something. For now she would cut her ties, but nothing would be wrong because he would be leaving the village. But she will never leave him in the dust. He was the one who trained her and made her become what she is after all. But until she gets enough power, she will have to hold back for now. About an hour later, Naruto was in the forest of death as he was thinking. Orochimaru was seriously weakened with his fight with Sarutobi. It is best to take care of him now. The world will be better off with a snake like that not alive. But he snorted at the reason. He didn't really care about the world that much. His main reason for wishing for the snake's death is that Orochimaru caused the invasion on Konoha. He was the one who manipulated the Council of the Sand and killed Raza. But he could give the man some credit for not allowing himself to be manipulated. If he was killed, that meant he did not give Orochimaru any chance at all. As he respected the man for that, for not betraying them. But Orochimaru will be much more cautious and deadly right now, until he regains his power. Suddenly, an envoy flashed beside Naruto. Sir, the man said. Have Sai continue with the surveillance on Orochimaru. I want to know whether the red head with the snake is a Uzumaki or not. If she is, remove her from the lair. As he wished, the man said. Meanwhile, at the Sand Village, Baki thought it would be best for Gaara or Temari to become the Kazekage. Kankuro was out of the picture. He was not suitable for this job. Temari had her own issues would make her a difficult Kazekage. But there was nothing wrong with allowing a woman to become the Kazekage. But Gaara was much calmer and suited for the position. Gaara would do just fine. And given that he was a son of the previous Kazekage, he would do just fine. Maybe some people would be against the idea, given his past, but Baki will not allow that to stand in his way. You seem conflicted, Gaara said to his sensei. There has been a lot to think about, Baki said calmly. Naruto was here yesterday, and he slaughtered all members of the council for their role in the invasion. He knew that they supported the idea and he got rid of them for it. Gaara showed no outward reaction towards it. He wasn't surprised that Naruto do something like that. He will not forgive anyone that placed his mother in harm or threatened her peace. You're not surprised, Baki asks. There is no reason to be. He did chase after us with the intention to kill us. He only stopped when we explained that we did not know. If we had known, maybe I wouldn't be alive at this point. But when it comes to his brother, Gaara knew that Naruto would never be liked by Kankuro, and it didn't seem like Naruto liked Kankura as well. But as long as the both of them are separated, it will be fine. In any case, I want to inform you. After the slaughter of the council members, Naruto said that he wanted you to become the next Kazekage. I don't know how we're going to go about that. But even if he hadn't said anything, I would have still cast my vote to you become the next Kazekage. Gar was silent as he thought about being the Kazekage, ruling this village, protecting this village. If he became the Kazekage, how would things be? Would the villagers even accept him? They no longer hated him after Kushina fixed his seal, and things were better now. But becoming the Kazekage? That's a different matter. When Gaara said, Baki blinked in surprise. I didn't think that you would be so eager for it. When you become the Kazekage, you don't live for anything, except for your village. Your father was willing to sacrifice his own family for the village. Even the great Minato Namikaze sacrificed his life and his son for the future of Konoha. Do you think you can carry all that weight, Gaara? I have never been afraid of a challenge, but this is much more than a challenge. This is a chance to live and do good and correct some of my past actions and change the sand into something better. And besides, if he did not step up, his sister would be used for political gains. Then before I let you think about it, you must know that Temaru will also still be used. I don't like using that word, but Danzo has still wanted her to marry Naruto. We may have to propose that with the next Hokage. At least with him, it is someone you know, someone who will not hurt your sister. Gaara did not say anything in response as Baki left, but he did understand what he was saying. Well, he was never against a proposed marriage in the first place. The question now is whether Naruto will still treat them the same. He came here and slaughtered the council members and he left without saying a word to them. The invasion had changed things. Would he be cold? Would he even be good to Temari as he had been? He might even refuse the deal this time. Perhaps maybe his mother would agree with it and push him towards it. Are you okay? Temari asked as she walked up to her brother. Naruto was here yesterday. Apparently he slaughtered the village council members who were involved in the invasion, Gaara said, as he looked at his sister. That just like him, Temari said, as she did not seem surprised. Later that night at Konoha, UJ was walking along the streets with Naruto at her side. They were coming out of a compound. She could sense envoys watching them and some of them popping through the rooftops, going about their business. Naruto seemed ignorant, like he didn't know what was going on around him, but Yuji knew better. He knew everything. Say, Naruto, Yuji said calmly, what is your relationship with Mikato-san? Naruto turned as he faced the woman over the strange question she just asked him. Her expression said that she was being dead serious. That explains your looks. Why do you ask, Yuji? Naruto asked. Yuji thought about dropping the matter given Naruto's tone, but this wasn't something she could just drop like that. Well, it's just because the way she treats you is a little creepy at times. She make you out to be a man, but you're still a kid. But Yuji no, he just really had a kid body. When it comes to his mind, he's a grown adult. Most of the times I can come to the conclusion what people are talking about or thinking about. But the subject really doesn't bother me, so I don't really try to understand it, Naruto said. If you want to keep this clear, say the correct words and talk what you want to say, because I will not try to understand what you're going at. But to answer your question, Mikato is, I don't know, an important person to both me and my mother. She calls me her hero, and I guess that made me feel emotion that I never thought I would feel in this godforsaken village. How important is she to you? Irrelevant, Naruto said. If she's important, she's important. I don't measure how. There are barely a handful of things I determine that is important. Some things are just important, some things are useful, and something I like to use and dispose. Yuji shook her head. He had no shame in saying that. Well, he was Uzumaki Naruto. She would just have to get used to it. Still, it appeared that Naruto was oblivious towards Mikato's feelings to him. You do understand love between a man and a woman, right? She asked. But Naruto did not say anything. What if I told you that Mikato likes you in a way? Like a way where a woman like a man. It is immoral for a woman old enough to be your mother harboring such a feeling for you. But it is the truth. I don't even know what to think about it. If you were not Naruto, I would be repulsed by the idea, Yuji said. as her eyes watched Naruto's body language like a hawk to see if it would change. Ridiculous, Naruto said. So why don't we go now and ask her? I am sure if we go by the Uchiha compound, she will give you the answer that you seek. I see no need to prove anything, Naruto said. I must be bored in indulging myself with such a conversation. Yuji sighed, as that just meant the end of the conversation. Naruto was not going to say anything about the matter, but she would bring it up once again. She would not end it here. He would return to the village all grown up, and he would not be a kid anymore. She wondered how would he react if Mikato make a move though. Obviously he didn't understand a lot when it comes to romance. He didn't seem interested in it. But for now she would just wait. Time skip. At Naruto's house, everything was set for them to leave. Nothing was missing. Itachi was waiting in the planned location, and Naruto was just gonna grab and hold everything and disappear in a flash. The Flying Thunder God was being learned to protect his mother, but now he was using it to make life much simpler. Kushina looked at Naruto for a moment as she didn't look around the house. She was certainly going to miss the house, but she would be with her Naruto. The last time they went out training, it was fun. She met new people and assisted Naruto with his training. She has always been by his side when he trained to give a few pointers here and there, and make sure that he did not overdo it. It was a refreshing time and she hoped that this time would be as good as the last one. Did we say goodbye to everyone? Kushina asked. I'm good on my part, Yuji said. For her, it was just her former teammates, Anvu, and maybe a friend here and there, nothing more. She didn't have a lot of people she was familiar with. It was the life of Anvu. She was always busy with missions, and the one relationship she had that maintained fruitfully with Hayate. It was good until he was killed. A part of her felt like she could no longer live, but here she was. Although she was not part of this family, she felt part of it. Naruto trusted her with his mother after all. How many could claim that honor? Sasuke merely shrugged. The only person he said goodbye to was his mother, and that was already taken care of. There is nothing left. It's not like we're leaving permanently anyway. We will come back to this village. I am wounded that you don't think so highly of me, Kakashi said as he appeared. Naruto looked at the Jonin for a long moment. How could he have forgotten about the man that was as close to a family as anyone was? Kakashi has always been there for him in training or anything else. The man might be tardy, but he make up for it. It was careless of me, Naruto said. But I thought you were out of the village on the assignment Danzo has given you. He is dead, said Kakashi. Can we talk? Naruto nodded as he followed Kakashi outside. Kakashi stopped at the door. Well, Yujiro, Sasuke, I will see you soon. Have a safe journey, Kushina-san, he said. Some time later, Naruto came back in the house, as all of them gathered up as he vanished with them. Yujiro quickly got up as she looked around. She was beyond shocked to see Itachi standing there, as she was thinking perhaps this was some sort of ambush. But the fact that no one else seemed alarmed raised some questions, but she still didn't let her guard down. Itachi looked at Naruto with a questionable look on his face. Naruto shrugged. She doesn't know anything he said. A time to tell her has never came up, or maybe he never thought of informing her. I guess you thought that it wasn't important, said Itachi, as he turned. Hello, Yujiro. Itachi. Yujiro growled out the name. Do you understand the situation, Naruto? Asked Yujiro. Naruto merely shrugged. Don't ask too many questions and keep some thoughts to yourself. You won't get in trouble with Konoha anyway. That isn't a very nice thing to say, Kushina said to Naruto in a stern tone. Don't worry, Yujiro. Itachi means no harm. He's going to be training Sasuke for the next 2 or 3 years. Don't think of him as a traitor of Konoha. Think about him as Naruto's friend. And Sasuke's brother and Mikato's elder son, said Kushina in a warm tone. As Yujiro just stared. Sasuke, you can go and sulk up to your brother. This has been a rather tiresome day. I will begin my training tomorrow, Naruto said, as Sasuke just glared at him. You're going to leave Sasuke to me? I thought you would be interested in continuing his training, Itachi said. I have taught Sasuke what I know. Besides, I need to focus on myself. I would rather not get involved. I am sure you two have your own issues to deal with. Kushina then looked at Itachi. Show me the kitchen. I want to pack up everything and make sure everything is set. We have to keep eating healthy, you know, she said. Time skip. The years were up. The hidden leaf once again. Naruto did not feel anything towards the village. But the same could not be said about his mother and Yujiro, who looked overjoyed about returning home. Well, it could be called home because this is where they live. Sasuke had nothing on his expression that say he was happy to be back. Perhaps the past years was just much more better than being here. Kushina breathed in the air from the Hokage's monument as she smiled with her eyes closed. She was finally back home after 3 long years in the wilderness. There had been no one that she knew, just her and her little group along with Itachi for the first 2 years. But they had created something of a small family. Every night they ate dinner together. It was a rule that she enforced. She would have been willing to drag everyone towards the dining room if they did not obey, Itachi included. It really feels nice to be back home, Kushina said with a smile. It doesn't seem to change though. She thought that there would have been some changes, but it was nothing. It feels really good, said Yujeo. I wonder what will be waiting for us now. But right now, I just want to go and see my friends. It has been so long since I last saw them. Since I'm not a Kunoichi now, I don't have to report to the Hokage. I'll see you guys later. She was still going to follow them around? Sasuke shook his head. No, she was merely going to stay with Naruto's mother. He doubted that she would even think of going back to where she had lived. She had forged a wonderful relationship with them. She would even consider about living with them, Sasuke thought. Well, it was just a thought. Make sure you do come later. We have to talk about living arrangements, Kushina said to Yujeo. She nodded as she then disappeared into thin air. As Naruto didn't even want to think about this right now. For now, he just wanted to rest. Let us go to the Hokage's tower and report before any plans come. Let us walk there, said Sasuke. I want to see how they react to our presence. I want to see if this village is worth everything my brother gave for it. You can do as you like, Naruto said. But he was cut off by his mother. Do something for Sasuke for once, Naruto. He has always done everything you say. And if it was you, he would have followed you. Be fair, okay? You can go, Naruto said. I will send a clone to walk with you. I want to get over with whatever nonsense is waiting for me there. We have hardly rested in the past week, and for the next, we will be busy once again. Acceptable, Sasuke said. As Naruto created a clone, as he watched it disappear with the Uchiha, he would also like to see how they react in his presence. Well, the clone would share the memories once they dispel. Kushina really wanted Naruto's thoughts about the villagers to change. If that happened, then he would be a different person. We are going to continue to live in this village, no matter what, so we need to understand it. We can't just ignore that. If we do that, we won't be living. You never tried to understand them, and I cannot blame you for that. But things have changed now. You are no longer that child, and they no longer act that way. We must all grow up, she said. We just returned, there is time, Naruto said, as he disappeared with his mother at the Hokage's office. Tsunade stared at 2 people who just appeared in her office a couple of seconds ago. She was informed by the envoy that they entered the village. Of course, it wasn't just the 2, there was 2 more others that was not present. The other was strolling through the village street, off a clone of Naruto. She stared at the blonde for a long minute. He really looked different from the picture that she had with her. She wasn't staring at that teenage face, she was staring at a mature face, as his body was also grown. But those look in his eyes, it gave her the creeps. His mother could not be oblivious of it. It wasn't anything malicious or pure evil, it was just danger. There were certain people that gave you that feeling, that you were not to mess with them. He gave off that feeling. What can I do for you, she asked. Before Naruto could say something that pissed off the Hokage, Kushina was quick to speak. It's nice to see you again, Tsunade, Kushina said with a small smile. There is no need for such a tone. We are family after all. Tsunade snorted. Naruto raised an eyebrow at this. Not Tsunade's snort, but his mother's statement. I haven't given it much a thought, but Mito is your grandmother. You do have Uzumaki blood in you. I doubt it counts as something. But you still have the blood within you, said Kushina. The only part that would make you say that is Mito, said Kushina. Little as it is, it doesn't change the fact. Nothing is more important than blood. Tsunade stared at Kushina for a few moments, as she then smiled. That aside, it is good to see you again. It has been quite long since I saw you, as her tone was completely different. Too long, said Kushina. As Kushina spent a lot of time with her, Mito was her grandmother after all, as she was at the woman's deathbed, as she was next in line to take on the Kyuubi, and she has met Tsunade back then, and the both of them got to know each other. This must be Naruto, said Tsunade, as she turned her attention towards him. I read your letters, they're very vague. I had to depend on Shikaku to interpret. I want a more detailed Report on you and Sasuke's abilities. I want to know everything. That cannot be done, Naruto said. Shinobis have their secrets, and it doesn't matter if you're the Hokage or not. I cannot just divulge my abilities to you, especially when I'm not obligated to do so. Sasuke walked in the room at that moment, but Naruto just continued. What you need to know is that both of us are capable Shinobis. Jiraiya was the next to appear. Obligated? As far as I am concerned, I am your Hokage, and you're just a genin. Do you really think you can refuse my orders? I was merely playing genin. To indulge the third Hokage, I am a former Onvus, and ranking doesn't mean anything to me. Let me put this in a way you will understand. If I'm not convinced of your skills, I won't allow you to do higher rank missions. You will do C and D rank missions. I was informed that you were given the Senju compound. Taking care of it will need funds. And if you aren't getting enough pay, you won't be able to take care of anything. My survival doesn't depend on shinobi pay. There are many ways to make money, but I do see your point. Naruto paused as his mother gave him a stern look. Nevertheless, I don't wish to form a troubling relationship with the Hokage of the village. Arrange a match with anyone you like. I will fight them. That should satisfy you, right? Acceptable, said Tsunade. Between the two of you, who is stronger? The last time I checked, Naruto was way stronger, but a lot can change, Jiraiya said, as he narrowed his eyes at the both of them. He could not tell just by looking at them, but what he could tell was that both of them had become a lot powerful, and in Naruto's case, he just became much more dangerous. Who knows, Naruto said as he shrugged. I'd like to know, Sasuke said. Honestly, I cannot stand to be called a genin, and I'm sure the others have grown as well in ranks by now. Over the past year, we have trained together and spar, but we have never fought each other seriously. That can be arranged, Tsunade said with a smile. Any objections? But Naruto said nothing. Excellent, said Tsunade. Tomorrow morning, 11 PM sharp, training ground 7. Naruto, you're a former Onfu and your performance at the Chunin exams impressed many. Both Jiraiya and Kakashi had sing praise about your strength. If you impress me enough, I will give you the Jonin vest because you have done a number of A rank and S rank missions. That qualify you to become Jonin. As for you, Sasuke, if you impress me, you will gain special Jonin until you can complete the number of missions that is required to become full Jonin. As Sasuke seemed to smile at this, but Naruto's expression remained the same. Both of you are dismissed. We will talk after your match, especially you, Naruto. There's a lot that needs to be discussed. I assume it has something to do with the sand, Naruto asked. As Tsunade nodded. I'm going home, Sasuke said to both Kushina and Naruto, as he disappeared to nothingness. I know you want to rest, said Kushina, so go rest at the compound. I'm going to clean our house first, and I need to make a few stops. Naruto just nodded as he disappeared in a black flash. Well, Jiraiya, Hokage-sama, I will see you tomorrow, said Kushina as he turned and left. Jiraiya then spoke. I wanted to fight Naruto, but I think this will be best to see how both of them perform. That's if they don't hold back, Tsunade said strongly. I know they won't show everything, but Sasuke has always been in Naruto's shadow. This will be a chance for him to show that he's no longer in it. I hope for that. I want to see how strong the both of them have gotten. If they both stay grounded, they can become our greatest assets. At the Uchiha compound, Mikoto smiled brightly when her son walked in front of her. Finally, she was seeing him after 3 long years. She has been in contact with him once every 6 months, but she never saw him. The communication was all written, nothing verbal. Sasuke, Mikoto said as she grabbed her son and pulled him in a hug. As Sasuke was glad that no one was watching, his mother wrapped him up in a tight hug that left him embarrassed slightly. Mother, he said, with a small smile. Mikoto let him go as she stared at his figure. He has truly grown. She can no longer call him Seisu-chan. It was something else and he felt strong. This was her youngest son and the hope of the clan. For now, her joy. You have truly grown, much more than I anticipated, but this is all good. Keep growing like this and in a couple of years, you will be the man of this house. Sasuke raised an eyebrow. Was he man enough? He has grown and he was all powerful. He wasn't the same kid when he left the village. Well, she was his mother. But he was certain that she would not say the same about Naruto. Seeing him, she would have said that he become a real man. Sasuke shook his head and cleared those thoughts. I have been training and eating healthy over the past few years. Healthy diet and healthy training make you grow quick and stronger. Sasuke said. Well, that was what Kushina and his brother said to him anyway. She wondered if Sasuke had grown like this, then what of Naruto? As she could really not wait to see him, she would go to see him now. She was waiting for far too long. "Mother," said Sasuke, "about Itachi." "It's okay, Sasuke, I understand. There was nothing that could be done anyway. It was going to happen. At least he allowed something good to come out of it. Don't feel any guilt, I don't blame you. Besides, it was your brother's wish. We have to accept it." 2 hours later, at the Senju compound, Naruto slowly opened his eyes, as black eyes were staring back at him. As he let his guard down that low, that someone could walk in and was resting above him. No, the security of the house would guard him enough so he could sleep. No one with the intentions to do harm should be able to enter the house. It was not guarded by the root envoy. He could not have snagged the envoys to see them, as it would cause too many risks. Questions he could not answer without getting in trouble with the law. That didn't mean that there wasn't one or two in the village playing civilian, as Naruto's eyes focused, as it was Mikoto. She was lying on his bed facing him. As he was curious, what was she doing? "Mikoto," Naruto said. "The Naruto I knew treated himself with dignity. He wouldn't have got into bed in his day clothes. Were you that tired?" "Yes," Naruto said. "I have not been able to sleep in the past days. I've been preparing for my return." "You were truly tired then, but if I was an enemy, I would have killed you in your sleep." "If you were an enemy, you'd have died the moment you stepped in the compound," Naruto said. Mikoto merely smiled at the response. Perhaps that was true. There could be a clone, or a crow with a Sharingan watching the compound. "Is life really that boring, dear?" she asked. "You could say that," Naruto said. "What are you doing here?" "I would have come to your place to see you, after you rested enough." "What do you think?" she asked. "Are you perhaps sad about Itachi?" Naruto asked. For his mother, it has always been about comfort and nothing more. He slept in the same bed with his mother to comfort her when she was sad. He could have not think about any other reason than that. Mikoto laughed, a small innocent laugh. "Despite everything, you truly are innocent," she said. "I know you're tired, but please, I can't help myself." Before Naruto could say anything, she came up on top of him, sitting on him as she looked directly in his eyes. She then came down and whispered, "We're going to do something pleasant. Don't try to fight it. Just allow me to please the both of us. And don't tell your mother about this." The next day, training ground 7. Tsunade was tapping her fingers by now. It was not yet time, but everyone had gathered for the match between Sasuke and Naruto. Sasuke was already here, but she could not see Naruto. From what she knew about the blonde, he wasn't a late person, and he had a way of doing things. "What is keeping him?" said Tsunade as she turned to Kakashi. "He didn't pick up any of your behavior, didn't he?" "Of course not, Hokage-sama. Influencing like that is not possible. Your years away from the battlefield must have dulled your senses," said Jiraiya, with a little disappointment in his tone. "Naruto is here. He was long here before Sasuke came. He's sitting in the trees. Judging from everything, I assume he's meditating." Tsunade frowned at her inability to sense the blonde. She was only able to do so because Jiraiya pointed out. Kakashi watched as Naruto jumped and landed on the ground. As his landing was calm as a gentle breeze. There was no sound whatsoever, not even dust picking up. As he was wearing a long dark crimson cloak with a black Uzumaki symbol on the back. He was wearing dark blue shinobi pants and shinobi boots. His forehead protector was tied around his forehead. It was slightly hidden by his hair. As Sasuke was carrying a long sword around his waist, but Naruto had no weapon on him. There was a crowd, much more than what Naruto had anticipated. It was not a problem. There was envoys watching. Words does spread fast, and there was the grown-up Hinata. His eyes met with Ino's, but she responded with a blank stare, as Naruto kept on staring at her, but then she looked away. "Let me iron out a few things before you start," said Tsunade. "None of them are still genuine. Shikamaru, Lee, Neji, and Hinata have all made it to Jonin. The rest of them are Chunin. Shino should get his promotion soon. If you fool around, you won't get your promotion." "I wasn't planning on fooling around," Sasuke said. "He won't fool around. He doesn't have time for jokes anyway." But Naruto said nothing. "Begin," said Tsunade. Sasuke blinked away as he appeared behind Naruto, as his leg was up, coming towards Naruto's head. But Naruto didn't even look back at him. Naruto simply raised his hand that was infused with chakra to block the kick. As soon as he blocked it, sharpened bursts could be heard. Naruto stepped forward and then disappeared out of view, as he then appeared a few feet away looking at Sasuke. Sasuke dispersed his jutsu as he landed on the ground. Interesting, he said. Normally, you do not move in a few seconds of our sparring sessions. Well, I thought if I attack like that, you would make movements. Your first mistake, Sasuke, Naruto said. That jutsu take away your chakra, and against me. You know that in a battle of endurance, you will not win. If you recklessly use chakra, you will use it, your greatest card to use your Sharingan, and I will break you. You think I don't know that, Sasuke said. I've been fighting with you for a long year. I know that I cannot win a battle of endurance. But I have to showcase in front of those eyes. I have to use my skills to get that promotion. As Naruto simply said nothing as Sasuke pulled out his blade as he dashed forward. But guys, we'll be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part, if you already know what to do, like, subscribe, comment down below and turn that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And stay in tune for the rest of the what tips coming your way. And I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. But for now, I'm out of here. Peace.